In every city, there are moments when the streets fall silent, when the lights glow softly, and when people finally hear their own thoughts. This story begins in one of those moments. Not on a racetrack, not in front of cheering crowds, but in a small, quiet garage on the edge of the city. A place where engines rested, tools lay scattered, and dreams waited patiently for another chance. Inside that garage stood a man named Dominic. He wasn't famous. He wasn't rich. And he wasn't chasing attention. But when Dominic spoke, people listened. Because he understood something most people learn too late in life. Life is not about how fast you go. It's about who stays with you when the road gets hard. The meaning of family. To Dominic, family was never about blood. Family was about choice. It was about the people who stayed when everyone else walked away. The people who showed up when there was nothing to gain. The people who believed in you even when you doubted yourself. Every night, the garage slowly filled with familiar faces. There was Brian, quiet, focused, a man carrying a past he never talked about. He had spent most of his life trying to prove himself, trying to belong somewhere, and failing every time. Then there was Letty, strong, fearless. She trusted engines more than people. Life had taught her that emotions could be dangerous and weakness could be fatal. There was Roman, loud, confident, always joking. But behind the laughter was someone who had been left behind too many times. Someone who made noise because silence reminded him of being alone. There was Tej, a thinker, a builder, a dreamer. He believed the mind was the strongest engine ever created, even when the world told him his ideas didn't matter. And then there was Mia, calm, steady, patient. She believed in people deeply, sometimes more than they believed in themselves. Together, they didn't look like a family, but they felt like one. Broken roads. Each of them arrived at that garage from a different direction. Different pain, different mistakes, different regrets. But broken roads have one thing in common. They still lead somewhere if you don't stop moving. Dominic knew that. He had lost more than anyone else in that room. Loss had visited his life early and stayed longer than he wanted. But instead of letting loss harden him, he let it strengthen him. Instead of becoming angry, he became dependable. Instead of becoming distant, he became present. That's why they followed him. Not because he demanded respect, but because he earned trust. The first rule. One night, after the engines cooled and the city outside grew quiet, Dominic gathered everyone together. He looked at each of them carefully and spoke slowly. I don't care where you came from. I don't care what you've done. Once you're here, you're family. The room fell silent. Then Dominic continued. Family doesn't quit. Family doesn't betray. Family doesn't leave anyone behind. That moment changed everything. From that night on, they stopped thinking like individuals. They started thinking like one unit. The pressure begins. But life doesn't like peace. Just when things began to feel stable, pressure arrived. A powerful group rose in the city. People who believed control was power. People who used fear as a weapon. They didn't respect loyalty. They didn't understand family. To them, attachment was weakness. They watched Dominic's group closely, and when they saw the bond between them, they smiled. Because they believed one thing. If you break the family, you break the people. Opportunities disappeared. Threats followed. Doors closed. The message was clear. Walk away, or lose everything. Doubt enters the garage. For the first time, doubt entered the garage. Roman started questioning the risks. Brian wondered if he truly belonged. Tej searched for solutions that didn't exist. Letty grew quiet, and Dominic watched carefully. He didn't shout. He didn't panic. He waited. Then he spoke. I won't force anyone to stay. The room went still. But understand this. The moment you turn your back on family, you lose more than you save. No one left. Not because they weren't afraid, but because they finally understood something deeper. Fear was temporary. Family was permanent. The night didn't end with noise. It ended with silence. A heavy silence that made every person in the garage understand one truth. The road ahead would test them. Not their speed, not their skill, but their loyalty. Morning came slowly. Sunlight entered the garage through broken windows, falling on scratched cars and tired faces. No one spoke at first. They all knew what was coming. The pressure had increased. The enemy had grown confident. Walking away would be easier, safer. Roman finally broke the silence. If we do this, there's no going back. Dominic looked at him calmly. There never was. Brian stepped forward. For the first time, his voice didn't shake. I'm tired of running. Letty nodded. Me too. One by one, they stood. Not because victory was guaranteed, but because walking away felt like losing already. They didn't rush. They prepared. Not just their cars, but their minds. Tej studied every detail, not to control the outcome, but to reduce fear. Roman trained harder than ever, not to prove something, but to protect his family. Brian focused on discipline, learning that control mattered more than speed. Letty practiced alone at night, pushing herself past comfort, because comfort had never saved anyone. Mia watched them all. She didn't speak much. She didn't need to. Her belief was enough. When the time came, the city felt different. Quieter, heavier. Engines started, but fear stayed behind. The enemy expected chaos. They expected mistakes. They expected betrayal. But what they saw instead was unity. Every move was intentional. Every action had purpose. When Brian hesitated, Roman covered him. When Roman rushed, Tej guided him. When Tej's plan failed, Letty adapted. No panic, no blame, only trust. Dominic stayed at the front, not as a boss, but as a reminder. A reminder that leadership means standing first when things go wrong. Then came the moment no one expected. A choice. A moment where someone had to risk everything so the others could survive. Dominic didn't hesitate. He didn't ask. He didn't explain. He acted. Because family doesn't debate sacrifice. Family understands it. The risk worked. Not because it was perfect, but because it was selfless. The enemy lost control, not through force, but through exposure. Fear stopped working, because fear has no power over people who trust each other completely. When it was over, there were no celebrations. Just breath, silence, then laughter. They stood together, scratched, tired, but unbroken. Brian finally understood where he belonged. Letty realized strength didn't mean standing alone. Roman stopped joking, just for a moment, and smiled for real. Tej looked at the machines around him and realized they had built more than engines. They had built each other. Mia stepped forward and said softly, "This is what family looks like." Dominic looked at them all. Then he spoke. "Life will push you. It will test you. It will try to tear you apart. But if you hold on to the people who stand with you, you will never truly lose." This story isn't about cars. It's about you. About the people you choose. About the people who choose you back. Life is a long road. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow, but speed doesn't matter if you're driving alone. Find your family, build your family, protect your family, because in the end, speed fades, power breaks, but family lasts forever. Follow Mandora Peak channel for more motivational contents.